Happy holidays, card readers. April here on Tarot and Witchery, and I wanted to do something fun and kind of different for a Yuletide, midwinter, solstice, Christmas, maybe it's Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever it is you're celebrating. But this time of year spread that kind of rings in the new year. I didn't want to just do a New Year's spread, so I really focused on solstice. Many of you know that I follow the wheel of the year, but this is a super adaptable spread. If you're a beginner or you've been doing this forever, I think this is really fun. I wanted to try to do something. So when I was a little girl, I loved Advent calendars. I don't know about you. I wasn't Catholic. Advent's a Catholic thing, but Advent calendars for me, they were all about chocolate. And every year I'd get so excited to get one and open it up day by day. And so I thought, what could I do with that, with cards, with Tarot and Oracle, that would be kind of like opening up a present as we go along, but not too much, because let's face it, during the holiday season, we're all just really super busy. So I'm going to jump into it, and I think you're going to find this is really fun. I'm using 4 decks in this, but you can use just one if you want, or you could use more than that if you want. So, all right, this is a 10 card spread, and to do it, you will need I'm using 3 decks. You'll need as many decks as you deem necessary, and you'll see as we go on. But you do need 10 envelopes if you're going to do 10 cards, and you'll see, I'll talk about that too. 10 envelopes, a pen, and the decks that you're going to use. And you'll also need some creativity and a little bit of bravery to kind of just dive into yourself and your own life and design this in a way that feels natural and right for who you are. You're going to hear what I do. Like I'm super wheel of the year focused. Maybe you aren't, and you just want to do something for the new year, and you want to do it in a way that really reflects your own life. And I so encourage that. Please dive into making this your own. This is just an idea, and I just think it's so much fun. Before we jump into it, just to let you know, I've got my free learning library. You can dive into that down below. There's like printable spreads and stuff like that. And you get it when you sign up for my newsletter. There's a link down there and a link to some of the decks that are in this video. All right, so as I said, for this spread, I'm going to be using the Seasons of the Witch Yule Oracle. You, of course, can use anything you want. You can use all Oracle, all Tarot if you want. You can use all one deck. You can use multiple decks. I'm using the Yuletide Tarot by Christopher Hughes. Just so you know, the Seasons of the Witch Yule Oracle is by Lorraine Anderson and Juliette Diaz. And then I'm using the Power of Surrender cards by Judith Orloff. And then I'll talk about the 4th deck that I'm using here in just a minute. So here's the idea. You need 11 envelopes and a pen to do this, or you could just get like paper and wrap them up, but you'll need to make whatever you use ahead of time so that you're not seeing the cards. The point is not to see the cards. So the idea is that I celebrate solstice on the 21st. So you may decide to work this around a different day, but I've designed this that I'm going to be looking at 3 areas of my life for the next year. And I'm going to be doing that with 3 cards each, because I have 3 different ways that I'm looking at that area of my life. When I think of solstice, I think of it as a time it's about death and rebirth. It's also about gratitude. I think this time of year is also about us being grateful for our lives and kind of taking stock. Again, it's about the longest night of the year and the sun, the S-U-N, being reborn. If you're Christian, it's about the S-O-N, being born, right? And there are lots of different ways to look at this. If you're celebrating Hanukkah, you could try to weave this in there, or Kwanzaa. The point is to pick a starting date that you will be opening up your little gifts on. But I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. So I am going to be doing 3 different areas of my life that I'm looking at. So you'll want to figure out what those are going to be. It could be health, wealth, and family, maybe, that you want to look at for the coming year. It could be body, mind, and spirit that you think you want to look at for the coming year. For me, I'm going to do hearth and home, study, and connection. So I didn't want to do just family. I wanted to make it about connection and connecting with the world. And then I will be looking at each one of those areas through 3 different lenses. The first lens is release, like what am I releasing as far as hearth and home goes? What am I releasing as far as study goes? What am I releasing with connection? You get the idea. And then I'm going to be looking at gratitude, like what I need to be grateful for. And I think gratitude is such a wonderful superpower. So realizing that you're going to focus on being grateful in this area of your life in this way all year long is great. And then the last one is new beginnings. Like, how am I beginning fresh in that? So I've decided, of course, for release, I'm going to be using the Power of Surrender cards by Judith Orloff. You guys know that I absolutely love these. They tell me just some way to release, some way to let go. You're either surrendering to something or you're letting go of something. And so I will have a card for each one of those. Okay, it's really simple. You kind of have to think about how you want to do it. I chose 10 cards. You need 10 envelopes. Gosh, I'm so silly. I don't know why I thought 11. 10. So the reason I chose 10 is because 10 is the number of kind of completion in the tarot. Like it's where it's an ending and a new beginning. All the 10s are endings and new beginnings. But also 3 times 3. So 3 is a sacred number, and 3 times 3, right? So you would have 9, that makes 9. And then the 10th card, just like in the tarot, the 10th card is that card of completion. So 3 avenues of my life and 3 cards for each of them. And I'm kind of curious what you might choose if you were going to look at 3 areas of your life next year. Maybe you want to do a lot more. Maybe you want to do a lot less. Don't feel like you have to do this exactly. And then the last card is, well, there's several different ways to do it. So let me just tell you how I'm going to be doing this. So I'm going to sit down, and you should do this early on in the month before the day you start. On the 21st, that is the solstice. I could either draw my cards on the 21st, but you know what? Let's face it, you guys, we're all super busy this time of year. And so we're not always able to do that, right? We're not always able to do things like that. So I'm probably going to sit down days before this and draw these cards. So this is my card for the 22nd. And I'm going to do this on health and wealth. And I'm going to be starting with release. I'm starting with release because I want it right after the solstice. I like to think about what I'm letting go of, but maybe you don't want to do that. You want to do something else. And so I'll continue in this fashion, numbering each one of these for the day that I'm going to draw it on, or I'm going to open it on. And if I can't open it on that day, then that's just fine, you guys. If you can't open it, like if you like when it gets to the 24th and the 25th, I'm going to be so freaking busy. My family's going to be here. It's just going to be kind of crazy. The 25th is crazy. It might not happen. I think I'm going to actually put 24 and 25 on my tree so that I remember to do it. Yeah. Okay. So you can do it that way. But I don't make it a thing, you guys. Sometimes with these spreads, we get too ornate. Just don't make it a thing. Do it something that you'll do. The other thing I want to say is that you may choose 3 categories like health, wealth, and family, and decide that you have a specific question that you want to ask on that day. So I might put health and wealth right here, and then I would say, where should I direct my energies? But write the question down on here. And then I will sit down once I have all my envelopes made up and I've decided what my questions are. Maybe I'll decide as I go. You know, maybe I want to do 6 days and I just want to do 6 questions. And so I've got the dates on them, or I don't even need a date to open it. I could decide to open these on next year. But instead, what I've decided to do is just, make them up and put the questions on the envelope and then sit here and think about that question. And then draw that card. Don't look at it. Do not look at it. It's a gift. How many of you have ever secretly opened up or peeked at a gift? And it's just so lame when you go to look at it. So the point is to put it in there and close it up for later so that you don't see it. Another idea is if you had you wanted to do all 12 months and you wanted to do a theme for the next 12 months of the year, You could write 1 through 12. If you had a deck that you were willing to tie up that long, you could actually keep this and open one up every month. Or, oh my gosh, sorry. Or you could decide to open them up and journal on them ahead of time, or open them up and simply put them in your journal. Like maybe you do this on the 1st of the year or whatever day you possibly can. Maybe you do it on the 31st because you have that night off. I never go out on New Year's Eve. I don't like going out on crowded nights like that. Anyway, maybe you sit down and you journal like, let's see what I drew right here. Night of Gifts. So I drew the Night of Gifts. So, maybe I don't want to tie this up for the whole year. So I go ahead and I open it up and I write January Night of Gifts. And I put that out. Or maybe you go ahead and you journal the question that you have for the month. Maybe you want to do January and you want to have a question. And so you journal that out and you have that. Anyway, you can see how you can go in so many different directions. I chose 3 times 3, which is 9. And then I wanted to do one more card, the last card, the 10th card, because again, to me in the tarot, 1 is the possibility of the suits. 2 through 9 are how we experience the suit, how we experience that element in our lives and how it works itself out. 10 is everything that we've experienced in the suit. It's kind of like everything wrapped up, and it's like the culmination. It's not a new lesson. It's all of those lessons at once, and how we embody those lessons. It's the end of the suit. It's the end of a time, and it also heralds a beginning. So for my 10th card, I'm going to choose another oracle. And I've got several ideas for what you can do for your 10th card and the coming year. Your 10th card is meant to give you something to take throughout the whole year. Like it's a blanket statement over your life. Now, let me just say, you could choose not to do the whole year. You could choose to do to the next solstice. You could choose to do to the next Sabbath. You could choose to do to the next equinox. Whatever it is that you're wanting to do, that's totally fine. It's up to you. Get creative. Sit down and think about who you are and what works for you personally. Just so you know, this is the Folktales Oracle. I love this oracle, and I have a video on it. By the way, you guys, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm, and leave me a comment if you feel like it. So anyway, some ideas for your last card are a card that tells you a secret of what's to come in the next year. So like maybe you draw the friendship card and you're like, ooh, I've got friendship coming. It could be family or wisdom, so you could do that. And if you're going to choose that kind of thing, if you're going to choose that type of question, like a card that tells you a secret, you're going to want to think of what kind of deck to do for that. You could choose an archetype to help you through the year. So in this place, you could use just the major arcana. You could pull the major arcana out and use that, an archetype to help you through the year. You could use, you could use the Wild Woman Oracle. This is a good one because it's got a lot of archetypes. Actually, they're all archetypes in here that you're going to be channeling throughout the year to make the most of your year. Like that's an option. You could use a plant spirit oracle, like if you're really into plants, like a spirit of a plant ally that you're wanting to work with. You could do a superpower you learn this year. So maybe you learn about wishes. That's a superpower, making wishes. Or forgiving is your superpower that you learn for the year or the period of time that this is for. What you need to turn away from. Maybe you're at a place where you're like, wow, I need to really think about what I'm going to turn away from next year. For me, I am having a really intense year of personal study. I have several Druidic study programs that I'm involved with that I'm trying to finish up, and I'm really devoting this year to that. And so I will be using the Old Ways Magic Oracle by Naomi Cormack, and that will be what I choose. You can see like here, it's protection, clarity. It will be It will be the overarching focus for the year, like what I am funneling my focus through. Sort of like the eye of the needle, like how am I threading my needle? So maybe you want to do that. Like, what am I threading my needle with? I'm like sewing those stitches with, is it going to be growth? Is it going to be sovereignty, community, bounty? What is it going to be for me? That's what I'm going to do. Give me your ideas down below for what you might do for that final 10th card. As always, I just want to encourage you not to make this a thing, to really enjoy it, to make it something fun, and make it something that's like you. Like, maybe these questions are not for you. Maybe you just want to make it really simple. Maybe it's 6 cards, whatever it is. But the whole idea is to wrap them up and then get to unwrap them later. I don't want to leave this in here. I can see myself leaving that in there. And unwrap them later. You definitely want to journal. You guys, journal about this stuff. You think you'll remember. If this is for the year ahead or even a long period of time, journal on it. You will not remember. You think you'll remember, but you will not remember. So at least journal it down, even if you want to come back to it later and think about it. Let me know what you think about this spread, if it's something that you're going to try, if it's something you've already done. I just thought this would be really fun, and I hope some of you do it and even come back on here and comment on how it went down for you, if you liked it or how you might adapt it. Like down below, leave me a comment on how you might adapt it and the different questions that you might ask. Again, you could do 12 questions. You could do any number. So yeah, until we meet again, may your holiday season be merry and bright, filled with love and joy and the connection to your power to release what no longer serves and the joy of new beginnings within your life.